practice 15 than he was at practice 1. How much further he's got to go? He's got some, but he's got to have go far enough where he's got confidence not only in himself, but that he's one of our best 11 we can put out there.
What about Davis Allen? What are your expectations?
Oh, he's going to get an opportunity. He's a freshman, good-looking kid. He's 235 pounds, 6'4.5", runs good at it. I would say probably if you really watched him, he may be the best athlete of the bunch. He was a really good high school basketball player. He was a really good high school baseball pitcher. He's a good athlete. So I'm interested to see where he's at after being here in second session summer school, and then to see where we can get him for the first couple games.
What about J.C. Chalk and where he's at right now, his development?
J.C.'s been in our program a couple years. He hasn't been called upon to be the starter, and now he's earned that right this spring and this summer, and he'll be the kind of league dog going into fall camp and see how he can do as far as holding that role. Excited about his opportunity. He's been a backup player for us so far. It'll be interesting to see how he handles the role of being the starter.
Who's the guy that's going to be the leader in that room? Milan Richard was a guy that was kind of outspoken, was the leader in that room.
I would say JC's got to take that role. J.O. Banks is an older kid that's been around the block a little bit in the fact that he's older in age, and not being a transfer kid. So those two guys will probably be the leaders starting out.
What about J.O.? What have you seen in him since he's transferred over, and does he have a role?
JC or J.O. will have a role for us. He's a tough kid. He's a pretty good blocker, and he'll have a role for us somewhere on this football team.
Are you still with the special teams?
Yeah.
Talk to us about your special teams coverage. What was the big change last year that you guys, it seemed like you were much better?
You see how many touchbacks we had?
Yeah.
You kick that ball out the back of the end zone, you ain't got it covered.
Yeah.
No, that's part of it, is BT Potter's success in kicking it off.
Yeah.
But coverage units are a daily must. It's kind of like shaving, or it's kind of like anything you do on a daily basis. You've got to be solid in a lot of areas, just like fitting a run defensively. We've got to have those gaps closed. We work extremely hard at it. One of the things that you get used to with a kid like BT is you get used to him kicking in the end zone, and you let down and no cover. And so you've got to assume everyone's coming out, and you got to deal with them like that. But those kids obviously. And then the other thing is, if you look at it, the kids that were on that unit had been on that unit for 3 years. They were puppies 3 years ago doing it. They became older. They became really schooled at it and good at it, and took a lot of pride in it. And that's kind of how they got better.
What does it say about a player like Xavier Thomas to be on that squad and to take off downfield and with the reference abandon and
that's
take off?
That's a big old athlete that can run, ain't it?
Yeah.
He's I think as the season progressed, we all knew, you kind of start off with a kid that's a freshman like that, and you've got a big old raw talent that can help your football team. And so you try to find as many jobs that he can handle mentally that's not going to hurt your football team. And a lot of the weight that carried, especially early in the season, was with our special teams. He was on kickoff return, he was on kickoff coverage, we used him in punt return. And then as he started making plays and getting into making defensively, he started playing a lot more.
Is it an unwritten rule or a written rule that the players run through the end zone after?
That's one of our trademarks. We want to make sure that we cover all the way down.
Yeah, we see it when they're running right out.
Yeah, we want to make sure we cover all the way down. We give them a loaf if they don't.
Yeah, I figured that had to be.
Do you use that South Carolina State play? When the guy dropped that hand, right? Do you use that as a teach tape for
we use that. We used the one at Arkansas where the punt returner kind of stood there a minute and then took off around left. I know that happened a couple years ago too. Those are always things that we kind of try to cover in August camp.
You may have already covered this, but big picture-wise, did you see any surprises coming into the summer?
At tight end or special teams? Which
at
one?
Tight end.
At tight end, no. We got what we got. Obviously, Braden's got his situation, which is what it is. And then you've got J.C. Chalk, which is kind of the leader of the group. We've got two unknown with two really talented freshmen in Jalen Lay and Davis Allen. And then you've got 2 kids in Luke Price and J.L. Banks. So you've got some candidates, and we look forward to seeing how it shakes out.
Any of them looking good in the pass blocking area?
You know, I haven't seen Davis to know about pass blocking where he's at, and Jalen's got some work to do. Obviously, I would probably say J.C. Chalk's a little ahead of him right now.
Is the door closed with Garrett?
You know, I don't know where that's at exactly, or if they've released anything. I know he had surgery. Let me put that on, please. He had surgery back in March on his knee, and he's still been in rehab. So I don't know exactly where he's at there.
So even if he did elect to
It'd
come
be
back,
a while.
Yeah.
I know you've probably been asked already, but let me just get you to talk about the depth of your position.
Okay.
And, you know, I mean, you were dealt a blow when one guy was
Yeah.
in the mix. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how much is your, back to the wall figuratively? Or I know you probably have confidence in the stable you got.
You know, I do. I'll be honest with you. It would be different if we didn't have any candidates. But, you know, these are some really good kids who worked hard. Really excited about J.C. Chalk's opportunity. And we've got 2 unknown freshmen in Jalen Lane, Davis Allen. And then we've got 2 kids in Luke Price and J.L. Banks. All of them good candidates. You know, I think they've worked extremely hard. Jalen obviously reported back in January. So he's had a little bit of head start on Davis as far as getting plugged into our program, going through a spring. I'll be interested to see where Davis Allen's at. He's been here for a second session summer school. Really anxious to get started with him, to see how much not only they've retained, how much they've improved, see what sort of shape they're in, and see where they can help this football team.
If you were a young, in terms of the 2 new guys coming in,
Right?
if you're a young guy and you kind of are able, you know the offense in and out, how hard is this offense for a tight end to come in and pick up right away and be productive and comfortable in it?
You know, we've been doing it a while now, and I would say, you know, to be able to come in and be multifaceted, productive in it, I'd say short of quarterback, I think tight end's probably the hardest because he's multifaceted. You know, you just don't line up way out there as a receiver and run a go route. You know, you're involved in probably most of the motion you're required to do. You play an attached position, attached to the line of scrimmage. You play in the backfield. You play in the slot. You play in all these multiple positions where you've got to master that craft. You know, the center breaks the ball, goes up there, and it's a difficult job to snap the ball with a guy on your nose. But really, that's all you do. You snap and block, which is a tough job, but your same skill set's required. You may pass it, you may be pass blocking or run blocking. But this tight end's got to do a lot of jobs in a lot of different facets, and he's not in the same spot very often. I would say that what probably makes the job the most difficult. Now, the quarterback probably has the hardest job in the fact that, you know, he's got to deliver this ball. Whether he hands it off, whether he reads it, he controls the ball. But I would say second behind him is probably our tight end.
Final thought, different kind of topic. We're doing a story for Dabo showing kind of the grind of training camp. And not necessarily the grind, but the progress. You know, every day that goes by in training camp, you're one day closer to the opener. Do you, I know the program has a schedule and everything is marked, every time is valuable, but do you kind of have your own kind of internal meter in terms of you're seeing, hey, you know what, this Tuesday my guys look better than the last Tuesday, or they don't look good enough? So what's kind of that thought process?
You know, I think a couple of things. I think you got to, each team's different. Each year's different. You know, where you're at,
Last question for Coach Dahl.
where you're at is a gauge. You know, sometimes it may be mid-year for you pretty good. You know, I've seen years, I've been doing this a long time, I've seen years where, you know, you sat around here and dealt with kids and you felt like you couldn't reach them, then all of a sudden the light came on and boom, you had a Jordan Leggett. You know, so it's interesting, and this will be a year where it's going to be fun in the sense that, you know, the view's different when you're the lead dog. If you've been riding in the back of the pack the whole time, all of a sudden I'm up front, and how does he react? How does he do that? And it'll be interesting to see who and when we put different people in that role, how they excel at it.
Thank you, Coach.
So that part of it we look forward to.
Right in here. Quarterbacks coach, recruiting coach.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
How's